Hello, this is Bill Cooper, and I am here in WRUU Studios and for the Sunday night show at 5 o'clock. And it's called Savannah at Night. Station identification now before I turn this over. WRUU LP, Savannah, Georgia 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And tonight my guests are two friends of mine, and you're going to get to really like them as I do. I have Miss Melanie Goldie and her fiance, Matt Faford. And welcome.
Hey.
Hey, nice to be here.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Thank you.
The purpose of the show, for you folks just catching us maybe for the first time, is what we're trying to do is get people in Savannah and the Savannah area interested in the arts that are going on here in Savannah. This is a great city. We have an awful lot going on. We have plays, musicals, comedy, poetry, everything. And what I wanted to do was bring in some of the people. I've been connected with the arts for 13 years here in Savannah, and I want to bring in some of the people that I know that provide a ton of entertainment here. And I want some of the people in Savannah who possibly have not availed themselves to this to know that you can put that remote down and get out and see something that's terrific at short money. Some of them are free. I mean, it's just short money and worth seeing. I'm going to start with you, Melanie. Thank you. And I just want to thank you, as I have in the past. You're the one that got me involved in comedy, and that was almost 5 years ago. You were down, they were doing it down in Taco Abajo,
Yep.
Which is out of business now.
Yeah.
And we had nothing to do with that.
No.
Anyway.
We tried.
You're the one that said, Bill, you should do comedy. I said, I've never done it. Come on, I'm old. Let me be old. And you said, no, you'll do good. Anyway, you talked me into it. I'm glad you did. I've had a ton of fun doing it, and I met some great people, and not the least of which is you. Now, Melanie, I just want to ask, I always ask everyone this question. When you were little, and you are a great comedian, when you were little, were you funny? Were you the funny one in the family, or
I think I thought so. My whole family is pranksters. Like, my dad's a jokester. My brothers and sisters, we always played pranks on each other. We definitely, we all think we're hilarious.
Okay, so that's good, because I was the class clown, the family clown, and there were limits, as you know. When you're in a family, there are limits. Okay, I had to knock it off, and if I didn't take that advice, I was sorry. Knock it off. But we do that and we bring it forward. It's like a part of us never grows up. Am I right?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge kid.
You're right, and that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
And since I'm 3 times your age, I'm telling you, you'll never grow up. So.
For me, Bill. Well, when I met you, you were taking classes at Armstrong for theater?
That was shortly after I met you. Yeah,
Yeah,
a year or
yeah.
so after I was taking acting classes there. Because that's my other love, acting. And whether it's drama or comedy, and I just lost... okay, whether it's drama or comedy, I love being on stage. I'm a ham. I'm a born ham. And
you're
anyway,
good at it.
Speaking of acting, we have acted together.
Yeah.
At the Bay Street Theater. One of them was Reindeer Monologues, and we each had our own. There was no interacting with the other actors. We just get up there. We did our bit. There were 8 of us, 8 tiny reindeer, and we all got up there, and Rudolph. So I guess there were 9 of us.
Exposing the real Santa.
Exposing the real Santa,
Yeah.
right. Anyway, it was fun to do. Every play I've been in has been fun to do. It's a lot of work, but worth it.
Oh, completely worth it. I love theater is one of the more difficult things that I attempt to do. I love doing it, but it's definitely it's so much work. You have to want to be there. It's not something you can do as a side job, or like I dabble in theater, community theater you can, but even a simpler community theater show, or one that's not destined to make any money, is still an incredible amount of work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Well, it's 6 to 8 weeks of studying a script. And if you never saw that play, if you weren't familiar with it, it's still, you have to become familiar with it in a hurry. Plus, you're working with other people, and they're relying on you to whatever you do on stage connects with them and that. So it is a team effort and not just fun, but a lot of work to get that much fun. Anything worth doing is really worth putting the effort in.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think we acted in one other thing up there.
Shell shorts.
Shel Silverstein's
Yeah.
shorts. That was great. If anyone hasn't seen that, man, they missed. That was just so funny. The guy was so... Is he still alive? No, he died.
He died.
But he was so clever.
Oh, I love Shel Silverstein. I actually want Shel Silverstein is my idol. Like if I could be anyone, if I could pick an adult to grow into, it would be Shel Silverstein.
You already did.
Oh, I'm trying. I'm trying,
Wrote a
please.
number of Johnny Cash songs.
Yeah.
He did, including A Boy Named Sue. And I saw him do it one time. I am so glad Johnny Cash sang it. Oh, you ever hear his voice though singing? It was unique.
Yeah.
Unique. Hit it up. That's I will give him that. The humor, 100%.
Very folksy.
The singing, unique. And I don't like taking shots at anyone. I'll leave it at that with Shel.
He was such a joyous soul, though. If you see videos of him and everything, I mean, he's just shining. Like
That came
whenever
out-
he sings or performs or does anything.
Now, Marianne and I have friends that they know him through the children's books he wrote,
Oh yeah.
which are so 180 degrees from the adult stuff he wrote.
Oh yeah.
So I was surprised that there were children's books, and they were surprised that there were adult books, because that's, the world they're in with their two little kids.
Oh yeah. That's how I was introduced to him, was Where the Sidewalk Ends in his poetry. That's I think Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein were my introductions to poetry.
Right.
As a kid, that's what made me fall in love with rhyme, and a lot of my work is very versy and rhymey like that. I
And-
still love it.
Dr. Seuss was from Massachusetts, so he talked funny, too. Matt, let's say hi to you. Get a little closer to the mic there, kid.
Oh, hi.
And Matt is the quiet one in the studio here.
Well,
And-
someone has to be.
You always are. You're very quiet, but you're very intelligent. I know that. And
thanks.
you have a great sense of humor. You keep that light under a basket, and I don't know why. Why don't you get up on the stage and do some comedy with us?
I don't know. I have a horrific stage fright.
No pressure.
Just getting up in front of a crowd is not my cup of tea. I don't get a lot out of it. I know some people get up and it enervates them. And
Right.
for me, I just get not that much out of it.
It's too bad, because you were at a roast one time, and your roast was zingers that were dead on and funny. I mean, I'm saying, where did you come from? I have never
What-
seen you up there, and what are you doing up there slaying it?
Well, I think about insulting my friends all the time.
Good. There's a part of you that hasn't grown up either. We're being overwatched tonight by my sweet wife, Marianne, who just happened to have to give me a ride here tonight. So she's smiling at the goings
Thank
on
goodness.
here.
She's a good laugher.
Yeah, she's a good laugh. Anyway, all right, Matt, you say you don't want to do it. You're not comfortable up there. You could fool anyone. You were excellent, and what you did was excellent. That's all I can say, and this is, it's not kissing up. I can do that, too.
I
but
feel like there's an ulterior motive for this whole radio program.
yeah. It's the Bill Cooper retirement
And
fund.
that's how Matt got his Netflix special.
Yeah. No ulterior motive. But I'm serious. I wouldn't lay it on like this if I wasn't. I'd love to see you go up and do it again.
Well, I appreciate it. All right. Okay, sure. I'll go up.
Okay, that's good.
Thank
I'll
you, Bill.
commit to you and all of your listeners. I will
All
go
right,
up.
and I will let you say happy birthday to your twins.
Oh, thank you. Yesterday was my twin daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
Madeline and Emily, they're 11. Hi, happy birthday. I love you.
And they're sweet kids. Melanie knows. I know.
Great kids.
Marianne knows. They're just sweet young
Yes,
kids.
I got real
they're all
lucky.
right.
I call them Emily and the one that isn't Emily. Or are you Madeline and the one who isn't Madeline?
They love
Emily
that.
and not Emily. That's how we go to.
Yeah. So, okay, Melanie, we'd be here all night long if we talked to everything you're involved in. But so I'll let you start off. What is it you want to tell us about what you're doing now or what you've done?
There's a few things in town. I do a lot. One of my very favorite things that I do is I get to host this amazing poetry, comedy, music open mic at the Cinny and Bean. It's the Tongue Open Mouth and Music Show. It's the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 8 o'clock. And it's an amazing mix of local voices and talents and ages and walks of life, and you never really know what you're going to see. I mean, we've had everything from harpists to beatboxers to young singers. We had a 4-year-old get up and sing. We've had kids go up and read books that they've written versus, from their
That's
books.
wonderful.
Traveling musicians come through. It's amazing. I love it so much. And we just started getting more involved with Block by Block in town, which is part of DEEP, which I've also been with, which is the Young Author Project, where we are in middle schools in the area and we take kids through an intensive writing workshop. We get them published, and then 3 kids from each class get to perform at the Savannah Theater once a semester, so we do it twice a year. It's amazing. It's a great program.
When you can share what you love with kids and see the glow they get out of it, of doing something that they love to do too. And as you say, I don't have to tell you, the glow they get out of it, the happiness that they get from that, isn't it? I mean, that's just a great thing.
It's amazing, and more so than I ever thought. I mean, of course, you don't volunteer for a program like that, not wanting to help people, not wanting to help kids, or not wanting to do your part in the community. But it really went far and above anything that I could have ever expected. One of my students got to go to the White House and accept an award on behalf of DEEP, and he gave me a shout out at the White House in his speech and thanked me for the class, and I was bawling the entire time while I was watching it. And even before that, I should take a step back and say that he was voted as one of the students to read at the Savannah Theater his piece that he wrote in my class. It was about his father and how he was never there for him. It was a very angry poem about his relationship with his dad. His dad ended up going to the DEEP Speaks, saw Andre perform. It rekindled his relationship with his father, and then his father accompanied him on his trip to the White House, and has since rekindled his relationship with his dad.
That's what. Now, how old is the boy?
He was 12 when he was in my class.
Okay.
He's in high school now. I think he's
right.
probably graduating soon. This was a couple years ago.
Yeah, right, it was.
So he's getting up there. I haven't seen him since, actually. It's crazy.
And he had the honor of meeting Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama, yeah, he got to give her a hug and give a speech, and I have a picture. I got sent a picture of him accepting the award with Michelle Obama with a thank you note from one of the administrators from DEEP, so I have it in my house, and I get to,
of course.
I pass by it from time to time, and like my heart swells, a little bit, and I feel so good.
It's hung up in our dining room.
Yeah.
I can't even bring up that I met Johnny Cash. I mean, Michelle Obama, that's it. A small T, you trumped everything.
Oh, and he killed it. I was blown away. I watched the performance, and this kid blew me away. He was just so cool and calm and collected, like not a nerve in the house, at the White House, addressing the nation, as well as like many leaders and other recipients of this award. It was a grant from the National Arts and Humanities Association. So it was all these people accepting all these great programs all over the country, accepting awards on behalf of Michelle Obama for the arts.
That's just spectacular. Yeah. I mean, how high can you go? At 12 years old, you'll be hearing about him, as you know,
I hope so.
As we go on, you'll be hearing about that young man. Good for him. What's his name?
Andre Massey.
Andre Massey. If you're listening tonight, and I'm sure you are, congratulations. That is wonderful.
No, it's great.
Okay, Matt, I will just interrupt you for a second there, Melanie. So tell me something else about yourself, Matt. Were you always this quiet? Were you the quiet one in the house? Were you the class quiet?
I have always been this quiet. I was the kid in class that shushed other kids.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You were in my class. I only took shushing from the teacher. Sometimes.
No, it was very unpopular. So, no, I've always been introverted, kept to myself. I've been a big reader. Spent a lot of time in books.
Keep talking.
All right.
Make something up, Matt. We'll all believe it.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I'm not altogether an indoorsy, introverted person. I also...
No, I know you're not.
I also like camping and going hiking and rappelling off mountains.
Wow. See, now I didn't know that.
Oh, well.
Do you do it with a rope, or are you brave?
No, I'm a coward. I succumb to gravity.
Where do you go?
Ropes.
Where do you do that?
Pardon? I've only been rappelling a few times, and it's been years. We would go to North Carolina.
Oh, there's some pretty nice mountains. The Smokies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the
yes.
Smokies are western. Well, it's western South Carolina. It's probably middle North Carolina. Middle, South middle.
You should start rappelling again.
We should. It's a hard hobby to get into, I think, especially here in the coastal plain.
We could just base jump.
Well, you just need the arm strength, though. You really need that on something like that.
We'd have to base jump off the cathedral downtown. I think.
Base jump. No, the highest point would probably be the top of the bridge, right?
Oh, right. Don't advocate jumping off the bridge, though.
No,
That's not what I came here for.
I think you've known me that long. I'm not an advocate of hurting anyone. So, rappelling, that sounds great. That really does sound great. All right, so you had friends when you were young.
I didn't say that. I think I said the
Never
exact
assume.
opposite of that.
All right, if you had friends when you were young.
All right, we'll get into hypotheticals.
Yeah, if you had friends when you were young, would you be the one they dared to do things?
Probably, but I wouldn't do it.
Oh, well, okay, that's where
I was
we
a
differ
wet
again.
blanket. That's what I'm saying.
That's where our paths varied. I was the youngest male in my class, and only 2 girls were a couple days younger than me. To put it in perspective, I was 16 my entire senior year. In June, I turned 17 a week before I graduated. So that's how young I was, 16 years old as a senior. So all my friends in that class, most of them had stayed back once. So now they're 2 years older than me. And to hang with my friends, I was the one that was dared. I was the one that jumped off the ledge into the water to the briny sea below. I had to be the one to do that. The steepest place we slid with our toboggans in the winter, I was the first one to go down it in order to be one of the boys. So I mean, that's how I grew up, and I never not accepted a dare. I mean, some of them I won't tell you about. They were dangerous, stupid, and I'm here to talk about it, but I shouldn't be. But anyway, I mean, I was the extrovert. However, I did start off like you. Man, I was the shyest person you ever want to meet until I was 11 or 12 years old. And I just decided that this isn't working. I don't want to be shy anymore. And I actually forced myself out of it. No one helped me. I just did it on my own.
Matt was an Eagle Scout.
I am not surprised. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it. I think that's outstanding.
Throwing out random facts about my life. All right.
We're going to. We'll drag it out of you. That's absolutely, I'll just tell you now, you'll know where I'm coming from.
The first merit badge I got was small boat sailing.
Really?
It was.
Terrific. I built a raft one time with my friends, and it sunk as soon as we launched it. But this little kid that lived in the apartment house that my friend was, we built it, and it was you could hardly call it built it. We got some rope and tied some logs together. And so we go out, and can I come? No, beat it, kid. One of those. Finally, can I come? Yeah, okay, hop on. He hops on. It sinks. It wasn't that deep right where we launched it, but he was soaked up to his waist. He goes in. I can still hear his mother yelling at him. And and all I can say is we pulled them out. She's, oh, thank you so much for saving my son. But we were glad that she yelled at him because he never bugged us again. That was the way we operate. That's the way we rolled. Okay, now to the young lady we have here, Miss Melanie. All right, Miss Melanie, as I say, there's so many things you do. Getting back to the poetry for a minute.
Favorite.
I've got to be honest, I've only been to it twice, and the other night my back was hurting so bad I had to leave after you, and you introduce it and open it. Anyway, I just had to leave. I couldn't stay there. But, your poetry is not what I grew up with. Once again, being a different era. I'm much older than you. I'm in my 70s, so poetry was Robert Frost and the Longfellow, and that was poetry, and it was read in front of a class, slow, respectful. This is a whole different world, and I have no dislike of it. It's just, even now it's strange to me. Some of them get up there and they yell and they're angry, and whoa. I mean, we'd call it a rant. We never called it poetry.
Well, I mean,
But it is good. I don't want to take away from it. I'm saying from the world I came from, it is so different.
Sure.
these are sentiments that have always been there, though. I mean, you've had beat poets back in the 50s
Jack
expressing
Kerouac.
expressing great emotion in their works as well. It's always been there. Maybe it's a bit more mainstream now, I think, that we can do it in coffee shops.
I was going to say that. I mean, that's the poetry that I grew up on as well. Because you figure the internet, I'm aging myself. The internet wasn't super popular until I was in high school, until I was almost graduated. So the poetry and classical literature that I was taught is probably very similar to what you were raised on. Because as far as the school boards are concerned, they
sure.
don't update, they don't care about modernizing what they consider art, especially. Can't see it, but I made little quote marks. And so I grew up on Frost and Shakespeare,
Right.
and very old poems that are hundreds of years old. What I do, I think, is more started to become very popular in like the 80s with rap and people expressing themselves, more slam poetry, spoken word performance more so. So it's less
Yes.
about it's still about being clever with your words. I mean, all of poetry is about the words, but also putting the emotion, the passion behind the words and really performing it is something that has really gotten very popular too lately.
Oh, I understand. And once again, it's like rap. There was no rap when I was a kid. I mean, there was country, rock and roll, and the stuff old people listened to.
Sure.
And that was it. Those were your choices. But rap is a whole different music. Came in far too late for me to grasp it and to understand it. But it's sort of poetry, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
absolutely.
street poetry, and it's, some of it's pretty in your face. But, once again, it's a form of giving a message to someone.
Yeah, well, it was born out of tragedy, like any music that has, I think, a really good message. And spoken word, too. Most of the best spoken word that you will see is all really heavy stuff. I mean, you don't want to get... I mean, not that you can't write a great poem about a normal average day, just getting up, but that's not what pulls people in. That's not what excites people or entertains or makes people feel something. You don't get up and talk about shopping at the grocery store. You get up and talk about a breakup or losing a family member that you loved or some horrible tragedy that has happened to you, and it becomes cathartic.
But you do talk about the shopping if you didn't bring enough money and run out of the store with the goods. That's an interesting
But there's a
story.
conflict, yeah. There's some excitement, when you see someone expressing themselves, you want to see an expression of something,
And I was, once again, the first time I had seen it, there was a lot of people there. You do very well there. I mean, you organize it, you run it and that, and as I often say to you, do you ever catch yourself coming around a corner? You're so busy. But the other night, it was not only was standing room only, but they were standing in the other part of the room.
Yeah, it's gotten very popular, especially the last few times we've been lucky enough to be able to feature the Block by Block program that I was talking about with Deep, and that's their advanced students. So Block by Block is specifically the older students who have gone through Deep, because Deep specifically is middle school.
Right.
So these are teenagers that are coming out now, and they are trying to hone their artistry. They're honing their craft. I mean, it's so amazing because I didn't have anything like this when I was a teenager. For them to take through to someone to say, hey, we like what you're doing. You're a great writer. Keep doing it. We're going to put you in front of a crowd. We're going to publish you. We're going to feed your dreams and help your self-expression. They're doing amazing things for these kids. So being able to tie what I do in even further to Block by Block has been amazing, and it's drawn a huge crowd. I mean, not that we haven't had crowds like that out for our normal tongue,
Right.
but being able to open up the other side of the shop and pack it out and just see so many people, not only so many people engaged, but staying for the whole show. I mean, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, easy every time. So
Yep.
to have people sit that long, to just sit still and be engaged in everything that's happening is amazing to me. It really warms my heart, and I think it's real symbol of the strength of the artistic community here, because it's not me, it's them, it's everybody else doing it.
And once again, the artistic community here got a huge boost when SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, located here. Started 35, 40 years ago
Sure.
with 30 students, and now over 7,000. The impact they've had on the arts in this city is terrific. It has been just a great thing for Savannah, which is a great city, a historic city. I love it. Mary Ann and I moved down here, and we thought we'd give it a try, and we're very, very happy here. It's just, it's a great place. But speaking of school and the arts, it's the first programs they cut whenever there's a financial crisis in a school. Cut the arts, cut painting, cut drawing, cut everything connected, music. The one thing they don't touch is sports, because football usually brings money into the school, so they don't touch that. But it's a shame that they don't consider that part of an integral education. If you don't have the arts, you have nothing on the canvas as far as that kid. Yes, you have to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, as we used to call it. You have to learn that. You're not going to get by without it. However, it rounds you off into such a different person. When you can express yourself and do it so people understand it, it's a power trip, call it whatever you want, but it's a good one.
And I think, if anything, it's good for self-reflection. Like, I know that becoming an artist and being able to call myself that has made me a significantly better person. If I look at who I was 4 or 5 years ago, before I back when I just started doing a lot of the things that I do now regularly, I was a completely different person, and I was unhappier. I mean, life always has its ups and downs no matter where you are. That's all relative.
Right.
But I didn't have the purpose that I have now and the reflection to be able to look at situations the way I do, because I've been able to express myself so much and see so many other people express themselves. It really does help you grow. I mean, art is intrinsic, especially music, more than anything. I mean, babies dance, and that's the biggest proof
Absolutely.
of that to me.
And sing.
Anything.
Babies sing.
And they have no idea what it is,
Right.
but they do it.
But they know there's some feeling there that, it's primal, or whatever you want to call it, but it's in human beings. And it can't be ignored. There must be money spent. There must be money found. They can find it for every other thing they need in this country.
Well, that's the problem.
Let them find it for helping kids feel good about themselves. What's wrong with that? There's too many that don't. I mean, it's just, I think, as I say, when the first thing, let's just slash the arts out. No, don't slash. Is just as integral as the other things
Absolutely.
I mentioned. It just is. And to help a kid grow up and to be a better person and to feel good about themselves, which helps them succeed. Isn't that the idea of school, to help someone succeed?
Well, any educator worth their salt will agree with you. I mean, I've never met a teacher who's like,
No.
forget the arts. It's the fact, it's the administrators and the government and the fact that schools are being run like a business, like a for-profit business, which
Right.
is never going to work. It's never, because it's not profitable to teach.
It's a whole it's
to
a whole
educate
nother
kids.
thing. All right, I would like to now to play a message here from our good friends at Sentient Being.
Oh, I love that.
This portion of WRUU-LP Savannah Soundings programming is made possible by a grant from Sentient Being, offering fair trade coffee, vegan and vegetarian food, and breakfast all day. Located at 13 East Park Avenue, across the street from the tennis courts at Forsyth Park. Our menu and special events listings can be found at sentientbeing.com.
Okay, this is Bill Cooper back. We are WRUU-LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. WRUU, we are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And would like to remind you that WRUU is now collecting items for the annual Savannah Soundings fundraising auction. The auction will run from July 15th to July 30th, with proceeds going to WRUU to continue providing both great music and a voice for the Savannah community. Auction items range from gift cards to vouchers for products and services that are guaranteed to delight and surprise. Tell everyone you know about donating and about the auction. Donations can be made now. For information on donation, contact Trent Kissinger at takissinger@gmail.com. Thank you. And we are back with Savannah at Night, the Sunday night program that comes on at 5 o'clock on Sundays and runs for just about an hour. And what we do is talk to people from the arts world in Savannah, from the arts community, whether, as I said, is acting, comedy, poetry, anything to do with the arts, drawing or painting. I'll hold them up to the microphone. It doesn't matter. But anyway, it's what we do, and the idea of the show is to get people interested in going out and seeing what's going on in this city every single week. There's a play going on. There is something going on that if you haven't seen it, you'll find out when you do get out to see these things how much you've been missing. Because it's not just put on and you say, oh, it's a small city. No, this is a load of talent in the city. You're going to be amazed at how good the quality of talent is in this city. So get out and do it. All right, now let's go to comedy.
Yay.
The old saying is, oh, you do comedy? Go ahead, tell me a joke. I mean, it's really,
Every day.
No comedian ever said, gee, I love it when people do that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I always tell them it's not appropriate.
Whatever you say. Now, once again, I started, as I say, you're the one that got me into comedy.
Yeah.
When did you stand on a stage for the first time and do comedy?
Officially, my first comedy performance was a roast for Shane Gray, who was a comedian in town, and he had a roast, and I was dating one of the other comedians at the time, and they were like, Melanie, you're funny, you know all the comedians, come out and be on my roast. So I went on the roast, and that's actually filmed. It's one of the only performances that I have filmed on YouTube is my very first one, and you can go find it if you Google me, and I did it great. I did really good, and I caught the bug. I had already been doing poetry and performing, and I'd done theater for a long time, so I like to perform. And I always loved stand-up comedy. Ever since I can remember watching stand-up specials, I grew up watching stand-up, watching SNL. I've just been a lover of comedy. I just never really made the connection on how to do it, how to just become a comedian. I think there's a disconnect there for a lot of people. They're like, do I just tell funny stories? Or they don't understand the construction of a joke, and I didn't either back then. So I just got up on stage and started talking and doing a roast, and then I got asked to host Taco Bajo. So my very first comedy gig or bookings was as a host for the Taco Bajo show by Scott Corcoran.
Right.
And then got started from there, and then we met you and Tara Scott and Gerard Smith and Mike McGuire, a lot of the originals,
Chris
Derek,
Islam,
Chris
sure.
Islam. Chris Islam, now he's been doing comedy probably almost the longest of any of the people in Savannah.
He started in high school. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw that tape of him in high school. It was cool.
Which one?
He was brave enough to do it. As I say, if you have the guts to stand on that stage, that is half the battle. And never worry. The first 2 times I did it, I got barely a snicker. But being older, I understand how it would intimidate younger people if they go up there and they really think it's good and nothing happens. Don't let it, because it takes 3 or 4 times to get your rhythm, to find out what's going to make people laugh.
3 or 4 years.
Well, I mean, at least on the stage, to get once you get your first sincere laugh and the whole audience is doing it, then you are hooked. It just is it's a fuel.
Well, I tell people all the time, if you have an inkling, like if you think you want to do it, just do it.
Right.
Just doing it, because that's how you start. Like if you think you have any inkling you want to get up there and you want to try, that's how every single comedian starts. It's just an idea, maybe I should try some comedy.
And the important thing, as I say, is if you didn't do good the first time or the second time, don't let that dissuade you. The fact that you wanted to get up there says you have something to say. So keep working it.
There's some amazing comedy documentaries on Netflix, so you can look up where comedians, like a behind-the-scenes thing, where they will talk about how you can bomb and then kill and then bomb in a single night, going from show to show to show. I mean, so of course you're going to bomb, and I tell people all the time, too, expect to bomb. Like, comedy is so subjective, it's so relative, you never know how the crowd's feeling, maybe you're off, maybe things aren't right, maybe it's the wrong topic. So many things have to come together, and it's more often than not, for most people, will not come together, especially at first. And then more and more and more you start figuring out how to make the pieces fit, how to make everything work properly to get the responses that you want, and how to read a crowd, how to have stage presence. All those things just come with performing and just doing it over and over and over again,
Just to remind our listeners, the name of the show here is Savannah at Night here on WRUU-FM. And my guest tonight is Miss Melanie Goldie and her fiancé, Matt Faford. I haven't forgot you, Matt. You're going to be back. Here. You're going to be back up there shortly. Thank you for sticking around. It's as far as the thing about bombing, if that's a term for having a bad comedy set, you don't learn anything. You do learn if you have a good set, but you learn more if you bomb.
Sure.
Look at it as a learning experience.
Every time.
And walk off and say, yes, was I educated? Thank you, folks.
It's a fine line, too, though, because I find a lot of comedians tend to be really self-deprecating. Most artists are self-loathing in some way, but comedians like to get up and be like, how did I do? Did I do all right? You killed, man. No, everyone does that.
You do that all the time.
I do it all the time. Like, how did I do? Did I do okay?
You did great.
I don't know. I wasn't feeling
I'm
it.
self-deprecating. I'm the only openly old comedian in Savannah.
We're so glad you're still with us, Bill.
I'm proud of it. Well, don't bet much on it. Anyway,
We've got a pool going.
all right, Matt, you've been over there dying to tell us something. What is it?
What are you doing, Bill? Put me on the spot. I got nothing. What?
You already made him promise to do some comedy. What else can we get out of him?
Yeah, this is.
I didn't hear the promise. Did you? Oh well,
He promised.
you
He
know him
swore.
better
He
than me.
swore to
Yeah.
you and the
And
Rue
your
listeners.
listeners.
Absolutely. You
It's a
know him better
sacred
than
bond.
me. I'm not going against that, Melanie. You're right. He did promise. All right. So if you do it again, just a question. If you do
Okay.
it again, now, as I said, that was a roast I saw you on. It's a little bit,
That was the first time I did comedy.
and it's a little bit narrower because you know you're supposed to make fun of your friends up on the stage. So at least you
Lot of
have
material.
a purpose. You know, not just doing it when we walk off the stage, but doing it while we're actually on
We
there.
live in a roast.
But anyway, if you wanted to do another type of comedy, I mean, seriously, would it be, I don't know,
What, like
just straight?
storytelling or one-liners?
Right, yeah, that's what I mean.
Uh,
What type would you like?
Didn't you audition for Odd Lot at one point?
Oh God, don't bring that up.
So you had an interest in improv, obviously.
Oh no, that was a thing. That was something to do. That I was never serious about that. I don't think. I don't know. Just a observational, conversational thing, I guess.
Matt's.
All right, I know your work. I don't know if you want me to mention it. It's up to you. But
Oh, you can. I
okay,
don't mind.
so Matt works for the post office. He's a letter carrier, and 100 years ago, when just after they get rid of the ponies, I worked for the post office too, carrying mail.
They had the mail back then.
I told it we not only
They
had
just
mail,
transitioned from
we
the,
had to
the
deliver it
bracelets.
in 8 feet of snow, and that was in August when it finally melted. It was brutal. Anyway, so we're both the same background there. I found that the people in the post office were a riot. The letter carriers were, I just call them nutty in a good way. They just were. When we were in the office in the morning, nobody could walk by without being made fun of. No one could walk by without us saying something. And it just was a thing. I have a friend today.
Especially supervisors. Right.
Mary Ann says, well, that's another life. that probably my best friend today, and him and I were carriers together in the same office in the same place. In fact, in Watertown, where Mary Ann was born, and we today, if we get together, we're like two silly kids. It just doesn't end. So, does work have something to do with your famous sense of humor?
I do encounter a lot of funny things. Probably not funny to other people. Just
No.
funny to somebody that spends 6 hours walking by himself every day. But sure, yeah, it contributes.
Because I think, once again, we were in the office at least 3 hours because it wasn't set up for us. It wasn't sent to us in trays, so we had to do all that ourselves. Back in the old days, I'm not comparing at all. But we had more time to be with the ones, our neighbors in the office, so we had more times to be crazy. And the thing, you just hit it. You're out in the street. Pretty much you say hi to a customer, or a couple of words in that, but you're really not talking to anyone until you get back. So I think that was the thing about why the clerks in there that were in there all day long, they weren't as wild as us because they saw each other for 8 hours. We only saw each other for 3 hours, so we had to get it
had
out.
to catch
then.
up all
Absolutely.
at once. Yeah, definitely. A lot of stuff collects during the day that you just have to. But I get back at a different time than the rest of the carriers. I get back after them, so I usually just end up dumping all that information on Melanie.
He's been bit by a dog twice
Right.
and held up at gunpoint.
Oh, that's right.
We think. You didn't have an actual gun, or
No,
you
he
didn't
had a
see? Oh, I thought you did.
If I had
Yeah,
a
I
gun,
showed
will you
it.
give me my wallet? Here's my wallet.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I mean,
Yeah, that's how. Well, that's what they tell you to do. I'm not advising people to do otherwise.
oh.
That's. I'm
So
sorry
you're not
to hear
advising
that.
people to
I was never
resist muggers.
robbed. I was never robbed, but I was bitten 3 times, and 3 times I had dogs jump through windows to get me.
All 3 times dogs jump through windows
Through
to get.
windows. One of them was the mail slot was. There was a pane of windows beside the door. and there was, and the mail slot was at the very bottom. I mean, you had to contort to put the mail in.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a sign on it in adhesive tape that said, "Put mail in here." So I was covering someone else's route. I put it in, and the dog comes 172 miles an hour, hits that glass. It's flow all. I mean, my face is bleeding. It's just it was a mess. It was ridiculous how hard he hit that glass. And the owner comes down. She says, "What'd you put the mail in there for?" I said, "The sign says put mail in here." She says, "That's the paper boy. He pulled off the piece that says don't." So I got a shower of glass because of the paper boy. Anyway, so yeah.
But the other 2 times, what were you doing?
Oh, well, okay. I'll tell you about one of them.
Stop
Nothing. I
teasing
just
these
opened the
dogs.
door, and dogs are protective, and it was a very wealthy part of Boston a town I delivered in. Very, very wealthy part of Boston. And they mostly had German Shepherds or Doberman, and they were there, once again, for crime prevention. And if you came to the door, no matter how many times you did, once a day, every day, 6 days a week, they would still come flying to that door because that's their territory. And some of them would just rip the mail in half before I got it all the way through the slot. And, once I let go of it, that was between the dog and the owner. But anyway, one of them hit the window too hard again and come through. I'm not telling you the third story on this station. I'll tell you some other time.
What have we learned? Jump off of bridges, resist muggers, antagonize dogs.
Right. And this is a learning experience, and I'm glad you
The
picked
life
up
lessons
on
of
that
Bill Cooper.
without taking note.
Thank goodness he's here to impart his wisdom.
Yeah,
How have you lived this long?
I'm telling you. You'd be amazed. Seriously, you would be amazed. But it's
And you have a motorcycle.
I still have it. I couldn't ride it today because my back's out. So, but it'll be back. I love my motorcycle. I do. My sister says you can't love an inanimate object. I said, don't get between me and my motorcycle. You'll see how much I love that inanimate object. Yeah, it's just fun to do, fun to ride. What can I say? So you're getting Matt a motorcycle for Christmas this year?
I would
I've
love.
already got a
He's got a
scooter.
scooter. He's got a little boot scoot.
Oh, super.
A 150cc scooter.
150
Zip around
cc?
town.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Oh, well, this is the town for it.
Oh, yeah,
Mopeds
it's
and
great.
scooters is a great town. It's flat as a pancake.
Mm-hmm.
And
Covered
there's
in
no
cobblestones.
Snow. There's no snow. Yeah,
You
there's
don't have to get
cobblestone.
on any major highways to get around.
Right. Wet leaves. Those are the things. I don't
Oh,
go
yeah.
out if it's raining or if it's the leaves are wet. I don't go out. It's not worth it. There's enough people trying to knock me off it. I don't need that on top of it.
No.
But yeah, it's just fun to do. It's something about 2 wheels with a motor. It just
Yeah, I'm actually reaching for a Segway next, I think.
really.
yeah. I think I would boot scoot around town. That would look real cool.
Really?
It's my Segway.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you see them on River Street? A lot of cobblestones down there.
Oh,
Do you
just
see
in
Segways
packs.
on River Street?
Yeah.
No, they do have a Savannah Segway tour though. That's
Oh, I know that, but
Yeah.
I've never seen them on River Street. Actually,
I don't know.
I
Test
think
it
that
out.
would be a little dangerous. Those.
Those
Let's rent one
cobblestones
and test it out.
Well, I don't.
What's the
Seriously,
clearance
the
on
few
those?
times I've taken my motorcycle on River Street, it was hairy.
Oh, I bet.
It really was hairy.
Yeah, my
And,
dad took his bike
couldn't
down
get
there.
off it quick enough. I said, nah, never again. And anyway, so enough about motorcycles, 2 wheels. All right, Melanie. Well, let's see. Let's talk about. Let's see. We talked about your acting, your comedy,
Yeah,
your poetry,
dabbled.
the other 15 things you're into. Tell
Like
us.
things. Well, I didn't get a chance with acting too. I've also had a chance to work with the Savannah Stage Company quite a bit. They're amazing. I am their social media manager, and we're working on Working right now, musical that'll open in a couple weeks. Actually,
Great.
you can check out SavannahStageCompany.com for that.
Where will it be showing? Do you know?
Starlandia.
Oh, it's Starlandia.
Yeah.
Oh, super.
That's
Yeah.
and that's where we did our improv camp as well. We just did summer improv camp for the kids, which was amazing. That was a week.
Talk about a hot area that's grown in this city is Starland District. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, there's a new business, and they're nice. They're unique. They're different businesses. They're things you don't find in the mall or downtown.
Yeah, the Wormhole's right there, which we love, which we perform
Right?
comedy at all the time.
Wormhole,
Yeah.
Foxy Loxy up the street.
Back in the day bakery.
Yeah. There's so many great new places there and funky little stores. I bought some art supplies. I like to do paintings now. So I bought some art supplies there, and they were, the tubes of paint that the SCAD students didn't use when they finished, so they get them at a discount and sell them at a discount. Anyway, I'm not telling anyone to go there. I'm just saying that's where I went. However,
it's a great shop.
Yeah,
it's a great shop.
But Starlandia is just a great place. A lot of things happening down in that wood.
Yeah, I've done my friend Joseph runs a booking company called Neurosound Booking, and he's been trying to integrate music and comedy a little bit more, and he's the one that did the Monday Night Mix-Up show that he put together, and we just had one there too at Starlandia where we did comedy music, and then we had live painters going on at the same time too while we were doing the show.
How cool was that?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, something for everyone.
Yeah, it was a great show. And then right now we're also in rehearsal for, I host a dance cabaret at the House of Matahari. That's the downtown Delilah's. And we're opening in August. And they're working on that right now.
New show.
Yes, new show. Every time it's a new show.
Marianne and I were there. We saw it. It was terrific.
It's a great show.
As I say, I'm just amazed. Never failed to amaze me how much talent there is in this city. These people are good.
Oh, these girls work there. They dance their butts off, literally. They just dance. I mean, their rehearsal schedule is ridiculous. I mean, 2-3 nights a week, 4 or 5 hours at a time. They're just dancing, getting ready for the show, and they rehearse for sometimes 6 weeks. And costumes, the director's amazing. She just had a baby. She just had her second baby. She came right back from having her baby to put on this show, and she does all the choreography, the music editing, the costumes, the direction. Puts everything, the whole show together, basically. And then the dancers, of course, they work really hard, but it just amazes me, like, what 4 people can do, Because it's not a huge show. It's a small show.
From 1 to 100 on a stage, it's amazing what they can do. It doesn't matter how few there are or how many there are. You'll just sit back there and say, I am so glad I came. And this is what I just keep telling people, you got to get out and see all this stuff. It's a shame
and I've met so many cool people too, and it gives me access to audiences that aren't like traditional comedy audiences. So I really get to work on my crowd work a lot, because a lot of the show is crowd work. Just me getting to talk to people, which is terrifying, and also makes you a much better comedian if you can do it. And just keep making yourself do it. Talk to people. And I get to meet all kinds of people who would never come out to a regular comedy show, but they'll come out to a cabaret, a dance cabaret. So it gets me in front of crowds that I wouldn't normally get to work with, I feel like, a lot too, it's definitely made me a better comedian.
Well, as I say, you have had a whole array of going into the art world here. I want to ask you about improv. I've seen you do that. Yeah. You've done improv.
I do improv for Savannah Stage Company.
I don't know how to start, except tell us about it.
Well, I started doing improv with Savannah Stage Company a year ago. They have open rehearsals, which is great. So anyone can come if you have an interest and you just want to come play with them, see how they rehearse, play games, learn about improv. You can come, and that's how I started, just kind of biting here and there at rehearsals and going. I started getting more and more involved and realizing the value of it. It's so difficult. It really challenges you in so many ways. You have to keep all your cylinders firing at 100% and be in the moment and still have presence. And also not think too hard. It's so weird. You have to think about everything and then not think and come off the top of your head at the same time. So it's definitely challenged me as an artist, and I really love doing it. Recently, we did the improv musical, which was a huge challenge and really, really fun. We learned 26 genres of music and basically just worked on story structure and how to tell a story in 10 songs. And then we would go and have the audience pick the genres out of a hat, and we would do a full hour-long 10-song improv musical. That we would just build a story with. Yeah. We did it the first time with 8 people. We just recently did it again at the Laughing Boar. It's a little dinner theater place out in Glenville, and we did it with 5, and it was amazing. It was really fun, and you're like amazed yourself. You get out there and you're like, how am I even doing this right now? Like, we just made a whole story. It was really challenging and really awesome. Improv is definitely one of those things too. Improv and theater in general are the 2 things that I think intimidate me the most.
And I think I obviously understand, because there's no script. You have to go out there and on the instant come up with something, and not everyone can do that.
But my struggle, funny enough, has been trying not to be funny, because I'm a comedian and I'm always cracking jokes, and I'm always on. I can't help it. Right. And you lose the sincerity of a scene too, or you cheapen the moment sometimes, especially in improv. If you're really trying to build a scene in a musical, not every second is supposed to be hilarious. Somebody's not supposed to be cracking one-liners all the time. I know, that's what I said. But my director was like, let's
Right,
focus
I get
on
it.
the
No,
story.
I
you know,
understand it,
stop
right,
trying to
right.
stop trying to be funny all the time. Stop trying to crack
Right.
jokes. And it really, that note has helped me immensely. Even in comedy, because comedy too is a roller coaster. You have to take people on a journey. It can't just be a whole. You
Yeah.
can't do an hour of one-liners. You know.
No.
You have to be
And
able to set things
I
up.
have a new line when a joke doesn't work. Okay, that's the part of the journey where it wasn't supposed to be funny. Thanks for staying with me.
My setup.
Oh, yes.
It did 20 minutes of setup.
That's good. Just another reminder, this is Melanie Goldie here with me tonight, my guest, and her fiance, Matt Faford, and I'm Bill Cooper.
You sure
And
are.
the name of the show is Savannah at Night, and this is what's been going on at night, ladies and gentlemen that are listening.
I do a lot at night.
I know I have some listeners from California tonight.
Oh,
Is that
welcome. Hey.
Welcome, Californians.
It's a little earlier over there.
Mary Ann's daughters, although one of them's on a mountain and can't hear us tonight, but the other one's listening right by her computer or radio. I know, no, computer. The radio wouldn't catch, but anyway.
She's wrapped.
So hi California, how you doing? And anyway,
Savannah is becoming quite the little Hollywood. We got a lot going on here.
the films here.
Yeah.
Now, have you been in any of the Hollywood production?
No, I need to get an agent. I've talked to a lot of friends who do a lot of extra work
Right.
and that kind of stuff, and I really need to start working on that if I want to do that kind of stuff and try and break off and get paid to do some work once in a while would be really cool. But I have not yet, and I would love to because I hear good things about people working in this town and have very little complaints, actually.
Well, for you, they're thinking of putting 36 hours in the day, so you might be able to.
I just need to quit like 4 things, and I can get an agent, and I'm on this fast track to Hollywood.
Yeah. It's, once again, SCAD. I've been in a ton of SCAD films, and the kids, and I call them kids, and I don't mean it at all as an insult, but, anyone younger than me is a kid. So the kids that go there are so interested in it. They really get so involved in it. They love it. They're there for, once again, this is what the arts bring out in people. People in it are in it because they love it. So you get people just giving 100% commitment all the time. And that's the thing I always say. Whenever I was in a SCAD film, almost, and I've done about, I think, between 40 and 45 of them as an actor, I noticed that almost every single one, if a director or producer or anyone needed something, they would turn and say, I need this wire, I need this cable, that 3 people would run for it. Instead of, hanging around, I'll let him get it. No, it's not my turn. It was that attitude that really said, wow, it is so easy to put a group of people down, young people are this or that. That is not true. Young people are the same as you were when you were young. They, only that today they should be smarter. That's what we're hoping. That's our goal. But, it was so nice to see young people with that cooperation and that desire to do something good, to make a good product. I'm saying, wow.
Well, that's a professional atmosphere, and you figure that's what they're studying to work on professional films and
Right.
a professional film set. And it takes passion. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are just as passionate about molecular biology, and they
Right.
can't wait to run and grab their professor's electron
But I don't run into
microscope.
them. I don't run into molecular biologists except for Matt here.
Yeah,
It's just a hobby.
Just a hobby. What are your hobbies?
What are
Mountain climbing?
Let's see. I enjoy video games.
board games.
Board games especially. Oh, I'm a board game fanatic.
I know. And you still owe me a cribbage date.
Oh, yes. And you need to come over to our house and play one of our hundreds of board games.
Yeah.
That's on the calendar. I am not nearly as busy as you, but trust me, for someone that's supposed to be retired, I'm pretty busy. Ask Mary Ann. She's always, where are you going tonight? What are you doing tonight? It's, And she's fine with it when I leave the house. She's wonderful with it.
Bill, I know people half your age, less than half your age, that don't get out as much as you do and go out to events and support the community and
I feel
and
bad
perform
for
and
them.
stuff. I do too.
I mean, because they don't have to be that way. I'm saying, and I understand. If you work a 9 to 5, you come home tired, or whatever. Some people work 2 jobs, 6. I get that. I'm not saying that, but I know there's too many people that night after night they do the same thing. They watch the same shows on television. Come on. There's more to life than that. I'm not knocking TV. It's nice now and then. It's nice. Nothing wrong with it. However, when that seems to be your whole life. I said, I'm trying to steer people a little bit away from that.
Not everyone has your winning personality, you know.
Oh,
They can get
stop
out-
it.
they
Did
get-
I
they're
write
so-
that for you,
so
Melanie? Is that, which card
You
did
can put
you
the
read
card
that
down,
off? Did I spell personality right?
Oh, it says charm.
Shaman. Oh, wow. Thank you. Appreciate the compliments as always. But, you know, and once again, I can't say how happy I've been for the group of people in this comedy group that we have.
like
It's
a
a
family.
loose group. You can come and go. You can move away. You can come back. You can take a few months off, and you're always welcome back. It is a family, and it's just a bunch of good people supporting each other too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone has a bad set. Nobody says, "Boy, you stunk," unless they do it funny. Really, I mean, we support each other. We help each other. We're out there for each other. We got each other's back, and it's
We
just
have
a
to.
good group. Well, right,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you how lucky I am to be part of it. I really am because and once again, these are younger people. They didn't have to accept me. What are you bringing this old bum in for? But you did, and that made me feel good from the beginning. And I just always have felt welcome. I don't see an age difference when I talk to people. I really don't, and there shouldn't be. I mean, we're adults. Everyone's an adult. That's all the way I look at it.
I don't. We get a lot of compliments from out-of-town comedians when they come through to the open mics and say that how welcome we are and how funny everybody is and nice. And I think that's just something we've kind of adapted because we've had to. We all know each other because we are the only comedians in town. We don't have a huge scene. It's not like Atlanta where you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comedians.
Right,
And you
exactly.
could go to a show every night and never meet the same comedians.
Wow, you're right. A bigger
you know.
city has that, either advantage or disadvantage. I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
at least there's, you're right. There's far more of them than here.
And it's helped us grow. That attitude, that friendly mentality is really the reason that we have the scene.
Yeah.
Me being welcoming and welcoming new comedians out all the time and always being as nice as possible and taking pictures and really I view myself as an ambassador for the scene. When people come out to the open mic, I try and treat them as good as possible because what goes around comes around. And because I've treated people like that, I've had invites to go play in other states and people are like, come out to our open mics, we'll throw you up, we'll put you out, whatever you need, come see us. And it helps. It's beneficial. I don't see why we would want to be snarky and mean. I mean, I hear stories of
I
other
wasn't-
comedy bars of
Far from it. I mean,
Yeah.
no one's been that way. It really
Yeah.
hasn't. But I mean, and once again, you can't meet 40 people and love them all. But I mean, generally speaking, they're good people. They're decent people. They're funny. They're fun.
I don't advocate that.
That-
I've met a lot of comedians, Bill.
What? What don't you add? Did I miss something?
No, they're great. No, they're great people.
Sometimes I don't listen to myself. So what was it that I said?
They can. It's just you hear stories of other towns and other bigger cities where the comedians are real snipey or real judgmental
Oh, that's
or
too
don't
bad.
or indifferent. They don't
Yeah.
even bother to watch other comedians and
Yeah.
stuff. And we don't have that luxury here. We have to all support each other. We have to be there for each other and see our shows because sometimes we have an open mic and you know how Taco Bajo started this way, where it would be 6 audience members and they were all comedians.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if the comedians didn't stay and watch other people's sets, we wouldn't have had an audience to perform to. So
But we've done good. Not only that, I mean the venues that there are now, and
now we've done laughs and drafts. 250 people. That's
we
nuts
wow.
for us.
But we have 3 weekly ones that are on every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every downtown.
Mhm.
We have that's Molly
Mondays.
Molly McPherson's on
Mhm.
Monday, and it's Chuck's Bar
Tuesday.
on Tuesday. And I guess I don't know what we're saying. Anyway, there's a Wednesday.
Oh.
And Thursdays, second Thursday of the month is at the Bean. Right?
Second
Chris
Thursday of
Davison
every
runs,
month,
yeah.
and then
Then
Foxy Loxy.
Foxy Loxy. I host that on when is it? Oh yeah, third Friday every month. Third
How
Friday.
could you
every
forget,
month.
Bill?
Because everyone else forgets.
That's not
Bill.
true.
Oh yes. When is it this month, Bill? Third Friday.
That was-
What about next month? Third Friday.
Well, the audience doesn't forget because we've had a great audience.
Oh, they've been
I
doing
mean,
terrific there.
You've always,
Absolutely.
even on the slower nights, you still had a crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, which is great. I mean, because they love it and we love it, and what are you going to do?
And it's great. I
Love
love Foxy
abounds.
Loxy.
Hmm?
I love that place. I love the Bean and
Super.
Foxy Loxy. There's my 2 favorite coffee shops in town.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, we're getting ready to sign off here. I know you have something you've been dying to tell us. What is it?
I've spent most of this just watching you two go back and forth. I haven't really been thinking about what I should say.
Well, that was it.
Yeah.
No, it's a pleasure having you here, Matt. As I said, this is the most I've ever been able to talk with you, and I have enjoyed it.
Oh,
And
same
listen
here.
to you. This is great. I know what your voice sounds like now. No, it's, he is. He's a quiet guy. What can I say? Not everyone is blah, bubbly.
Well, he's fairly sober right now.
Oh, well, then that should make a difference.
makes a
Matt,
big difference.
welcome. Thank you very much. I know I'll have you back again, and Melanie, and
I hope so.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
We had a
Bill.
great time.
That was
Melanie, always a pleasure, both of you. I'd like to
Yeah.
give the station identification now before I turn this over. WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And this has been Bill Cooper with I'm sorry, we had a little technical thing here with Savannah at Night. Thank you very much for joining us.